Hello everyone, welcome to the Overman channel where I share my Little Nightmares theories, concepts, art, and more. Today is going to be a bit of an experimental video. It's going to be a video where I kind of just share updates on the projects I'm working on instead of trying to push out some half-baked theory video or poorly written concept story. I try to get a video out every week, but this week I just haven't had anything. I've been a little burnt out and I'm out of ideas, at least for this week. So instead of rushing something, I thought it would be best to give an update video on all the projects I keep mentioning at the end of my videos. First, I'm going to talk about what to expect in terms of the next theory videos. Next, I'm going to discuss where I'm at for the next Before the Mom video with Roger's backstory, and my new conceptual video on my location I think I'm going to go with calling the Cradle. Lastly, I'm going to talk about my standing on the Sounds of Nightmares episode 2, what to expect, and at the very end of the video I will share the first 53 seconds that I have animated so far. While I talk about the Sounds of Nightmares episode 2, I am also going to give some details on the art contest I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and I'll explain some ideas I have about involving you, the community, in making designs and ideas for what you want to see in the next The Sounds of Nightmares episodes. Without further ado, let me explain my sort of standing on theory videos and Little Nightmares discussion videos. After I posted my Twin Chefs video, I found that to be very rewarding. The response I got was incredible and there were a lot of very nice comments. Simply put, I was just really proud of it, and that's how I want things to be. I want to feel proud of my videos. When I posted my Thin Man theory, however, I was not very proud of it. My intent was to provide an alternative idea that I believe to be just as valid an interpretation of the ending of Little Nightmares 2 as the more commonly accepted time loop theory. I wanted to spark healthy discussion and remind this community that a big part about this series that I think is essential is the varying theories and the varying ideas, the questions with no real answers. I think we should keep talking about, keep discussing, and not just accept things as fact because that's the most popular theory at the time. However, talking about a big and divisive topic such as that felt more nerve-wracking than anything. I was feeling more nervous about the reception of the video than simply feeling proud and satisfied of it, and that's something I want to avoid. There are topics I want to talk about, big theories that I believe could very well be game changers to what we know about the lore of the games currently. However, I feel personally I'm just not at that point yet where I really want to make videos like that. My main point is, if I do a theory, it'll be on a sillier, more niche topic rather than a larger, divisive topic. My silly theory about the guests and the bathers with their masks is very different than providing an alternative theory contesting a theory that's been widely accepted among the community, such as the Thin Man theory. So in terms of theory videos, don't expect much, and if you are expecting something, expect a smaller, more silly and niche theory rather than a bigger theory. Speaking of what you should expect, I'm going to briefly talk about the two big writing and art projects I'm working on right now. Roger's Before the Ma story, and my location, the Cradle. Roger's Before the Ma story was originally going to take place on the Cradle, so before I talk about him and where I'm at on that project, I will talk about the Cradle first and provide context as to why Roger's story might take a little longer to come out. However, just because it needs more work, it will still probably come out first. The Cradle is a kind of melting pot of ideas I've had. I've had these rough concepts swimming around my brain space for a while, and this will be the culmination of all of that. This all sparked from some criticisms I have about Little Nightmares 2. I would love to make a video discussing my standing on that, however I feel like that's a more divisive topic like the Thin Man theory, so it's going to go on the shelf for now. However, using those criticisms as a starting point, taking these ideas of things I would have loved to see in Little Nightmares 2, I used those ideas and I decided to spin them into my own narrative. Originally, it was going to be a kind of retelling of Little Nightmares 2, where this brainwashing center took place inside of a giant tower. The bottom floor would be these grasslands where we would have to escape a mortician who collects these falling corpses. We would climb up the tower and evade a school that involved brainwashing children, go past the school and enter this wonky upside-down hospital where children are warped and shaped into good residents, good workers, and then we would get to the top, where these reformed children would be sent out into the nowhere. Now here's the thing. Those chapters are basically the main inspiration for the Cradle. But the difference is I took those ideas and spun them into something new. There will be a sort of teacher and doctor adjacent character, but it's more so like how Roger would parallel the teacher because they both deal with kids. There's a common idea, but it's very far removed to the point where I would consider it its own thing. Consider the original tower idea as a middle ground in the development process between missed potential ideas in Little Nightmares 2 and my Cradle location. It's been this long kind of snowball effect that has led to this big project. I don't want to get into the details too much, but you will see some parallels thematically, hopefully. To give you a little sneak peek, a little idea of what I'm talking about, there will be children's quarters and dorms and these huge 1984 style theaters in the second chapter I will be calling the Gilded Cage. Guess what chapter in Little Nightmares 2 this was distantly derived from? The school. You see what I mean? Parallel base ideas, but very much their own things. Now, originally, this was going to be the location of Roger's backstory. The second half of the Cradle's design process was merging that tower idea with my ideas for Roger's backstory. Even though that story is now removed and they're separate tales to tell, originally, Roger would have been going through this Cradle location, then called the orphanage, and eventually he would escape and end up on the Maw. The brainwashing taking effect, leading to him being the perfect employee for the Maw. However, this orphanage idea that eventually merged into the Cradle, that was originally its own separate location, and I thought it would be interesting to merge the two ideas. However, I decided now to separate the two stories again, and Roger's story will be the same base concepts I originally was going to use. So Roger's story was originally something else, and then that story kind of merged with the orphanage, which became the Cradle, and then now I'm deciding to branch off Roger's story again, just because. I feel like Roger doesn't really fit on the Cradle. We'll get into that. I have ideas for Roger's backstory that can't work with the location that he would have been on, so I have to kind of rewrite his story. So expect a Roger backstory soon, perhaps next week, and expect the Cradle video in the next few weeks. Now let me talk about what I am sure all of you are most excited for, the Sounds of Nightmares Episode 2. I haven't been working on it. I know, I'm sure you all are very disappointed, but don't click off the video yet and let me explain. There are some things I want to do before I fully commit to this project. This little time gap will also give me some time to cool off, as the first episode really burnt me out, and this time will allow me to commit to some other projects, such as a short stop-motion animation revolving around the Hanging Man, this being an air quotes pilot to an animated series I want to do, where we explore the lives of the residents on the Maw from their point of view. Thematically, the Hanging Man episode will be very different from the rest of the series, but judging by how he is dead, and I want to look into the worlds of other residents who are still alive, it's going to be a bit different thematically and tone-wise. Every episode will be a little different because it's focusing on different characters, and the Hanging Man, his story is going to be a lot more grim because he is dead, so thematically that's going to be the most different, but all of the episodes are going to differ from one another, hopefully. Hopefully I get that idea across. Focusing back on the Sounds of Nightmares, while I take this break from episode 2, I want to propose an idea I had. The reason I make these animations, they aren't for me. They're a big love letter to this community and this franchise, and what better way to showcase the community's ideas than give you all ways of inputting ideas and helping me design the monsters you all want to see. To start off, I had an idea. The first time I drew Otto, I drew him as if he were a monster. As you can see, his design was based off the same painting my avatar is based on. As the episodes go on, I had an idea that whenever Noon is present, each episode Otto would look more and more monstrous, physically showcasing his descent into madness, physically showing Noon's perception of him as she grows more and more fearful, as he grows more and more restless. When he's alone and he's monologuing, he looks the same. He looks normal because it's his perception of himself. But from Noon's perspective, As she gets more and more delirious and scared, she literally sees him grow more and more monstrous. This was the big announcement I wanted to make. I want to host an art competition. Every participant will design their own resident style auto. At the end of the allotted time period, I will pick the designs I personally like the most. The first place spot will get a free commission from me, colored and shaded in the style of my other full drawings. Second place will be a digital drawing with colors and an outline, not fully rendered but still colored. And third place will get a detailed pencil drawing from me in a style similar to these. How to get into the competition? All you have to do is make sure I see the drawing, basically. I heavily encourage you to check my Instagram, as I will make a post soon detailing what I just said, but on Instagram. Make a post on Instagram using the hashtag TOAOTTOCOMP, hashtag theeoverman auto competition, TOAOTTOCOMP. I also realize not everyone has an Instagram or might not be comfortable posting their art publicly. So for more information, I will also make a community post on YouTube. And to submit your art, feel free to either DM me on Instagram or on Discord. Your applications will still be valid. You can reach me here if you aren't going to make a post, or just DM your art and it will be a part of the competition. One last thing about this competition, the first, second, and third place winners are not going to fully dictate the looks of Monster Auto. I will try and do my best to meld all of these concepts together and make a bunch of concept arts to see what the ultimate Monster Auto would look like. One other last thing, this whole idea of Auto slowly deteriorating over the episodes might not even happen. It will only happen if a majority of you all think this is a good idea, so comment below, let me know what you think. If it won't end up in the episodes, if a majority of you still think maybe not, just keep Auto looking the same every scene, blah blah blah, the competition is still on. It can just be for fun. So whether this idea comes into fruition in the episodes or not, the competition is still on. Without further ado, take a sneak peek at the first bit of the Sounds of Nightmares animated episode 2.
During our fourth session, developments in Noon's case unearthed echoes of past failures. The girl recalled a familiar figure.
The candleman stood before me, on the rooftop. He wore a long, filthy jacket. His presence, it reminded me of when the tide goes out.
An uncanny sense of déjà vu. For Noon has seemingly encountered my Cece's ferryman. I thought him lost forever. Yet, if true, he's somehow found a way back to where he began. And who is he?
Thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this sort of update/progress video. I wanted to post a video at least once a week. However, if I don't have a video for the week, like this week, I want to know your thoughts on having these sort of project update videos and information stuffs. Basically, would you all rather I do a video like this, update you all, tell you my standing on projects, where I'm at? Or would you rather I just skip a week, not adhere to a schedule, and just post whenever the video is ready? Comment your thoughts down below, and of course, subscribe if these future projects interest you. Thank you all for watching.